Hello, YouTube. I would like to read to you a list of some of my favorite books and authors. So, just start out easy. Anything by Poe or Lovecraft. I do have Cthulhu right here on my arm. And I also really love anything by Ellen Hopkins. She was one of my favorites when I was a teenager. The use of prose, her use of prose is incredibly unique. Definitely geared towards young authors, or young adults, but it's something worth checking out if you want a quick read. Her books look very big, but it's because of the way they're written. Just flip through it before you judge it. Brothers Grimm collection, that's a classic there too. House of Leaves, Marcus E. Danielewski, definitely up there on the list. That is a mind fuck, let's just say. You can start in the middle of that book, you can start at the beginning, you could start at the end and work backwards if you wanted to. You could read the footnotes alone. That tells its whole story, a whole story, I should say, in that book. The bulk of the book is a dissertation that the person writing the footnotes is trying to piece back together. And as they're trying to piece it back together, they're going insane. The dissertation is about a house, or a documentary of a house that doesn't exist. And the house is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And once the family notices this, they don't really know how to cope, and the cracks start to form. And then a door appears to a hallway that never ends inside this house. That's just the premise. I mean, it gets deep. But that is House of Leaves, Mark Z. Danielewski. Ghosts by Holger. That is one of my all-time favorites. There's definitely some hokey stuff in it, but it lays out the differences in paranormal occurrences and also people's misinterpretations of things that could be something other than a spirit or not necessarily what most people would call a ghost. It's worth flipping through at least the first 10 pages. The writing is tiny. It is a dense read. The book is over an inch thick, I'd say at least an inch and a half. I've got it over here on my bookshelf, actually. Oops. Sorry about that. Yeah, it is a hefty book. Let's see, what else? Hermes and the hermeneutic circle. And that is a good one right there. That's actually anonymous that wrote that, but an anonymous person. But it's worth checking out. Check out what they've got to say about that. It's definitely an interesting read. Wolf in the Sheep's Pen by F. Cunctator. That's a very good read. It's more of a classic style. It's written, not really Old English, but definitely a dense type of language there. Tunnels by Roderick Gordon. It's one of my favorites as a kid as well. It's about this kid who digs deep underground to find this hidden civilization. Might sound like City of Ember just a little bit, but it's quite different. I can't remember which came out first, but I really like it. At least I did when I was a kid. It's been since like 7th grade since I read it, but The Knife of Never Letting Go. I know it's a long title, but The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. It's a series, actually. It's definitely up there on my list of sci-fi novels, and that's just because I don't normally like sci-fi that much. And this one, I mean, it's executed so well. You don't even realize that it is sci-fi. You don't even realize that they're on another planet until quarter of the way through the first book. And I think the first time I really recognized that we're on another planet was you bit into an apple and it was black. And I was like, wait, something's wrong here, and all that he knows is that all of the women on this new planet have died from some unknown toxin in the air that affected female humans, and let's just say he finds out that that's not true and goes on to discover a lot more very fucked up things. It's worth a read. It's another one geared towards young adults, but it's a good read. So yeah, that concludes this list of my favorite books and authors. Let me know if there's anything else you guys would like to hear about, any topics you'd like to throw at me. I'm interested in pretty much anything.